Welcome everybody to another Cooking with Sledgehammer. I'm your host, Dr. Sledgehammer. Today we're gonna make my favorite fava bean recipe. Let's get started. First we're gonna spill the can of beans into a pot and turn up the heat. Now we're gonna need some salt, pepper, garlic, cumin, olive oil and some lemon juice. Add the ingredients and stir it up nicely. If you like it spicy, you can add some chili powder. Wait until the water starts to boil the beans and you're almost done. Then we're gonna really stump the beans to give them a slimy, pasty type of consistency. And we're done. You eat them with a piece of tortilla.
Yo bro, what's up?
What the hell are you doing here?
I've got something for you. What's that smell? What? I'm really hungry. It's very good by the way.
Bud Spencer and Terence Hill are the professional names of actors Carlos Pedesoli and Mario Girotti. They are the closest thing to an almost modern-day Sam Lauren and Oliver Hardy duo. Terence Hill, the charming, cunning and athletic womanizer, and Bud Spencer, the Chuck Norris of Italy, who is well known for his manly attitude, his enormous power and his kinda passive-aggressive demeanor. While each of them enjoyed success in their solo careers, the magic really happened when they teamed up. For over 3 decades, these two legends conquered the television sets of households all across Europe. As a kid, I always thought they were American actors working in Hollywood-produced movies. And who can blame me for that? Most of their plot points take place in the US. Their subject material is similar to movies produced in Hollywood at that time. In one movie, for example, they are cops going after the drug gang. In the next movie, they are in the Wild West. In another movie, Terence Hill is a cop with superpowers. In another movie, Bud Spencer is a sheriff who is visited by an alien kid with superpowers. Seriously, their characters are all over the place. There's so much material to talk about with these two. They're like live-action superheroes that both kids and adults can enjoy. It's a shame that they gained barely any international recognition. People outside of Europe barely know of them.
Who are you talking to?
Do you mean my audience?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Look. There's a camera right over there. There's like 200 million people watching us right now.
But why are you doing this?
I don't know. Money, cocaine, bitches, who knows? Let's just pop the game in, shall we?
Okay.
Well, the menu ain't anything special, but allow me to guide your attention towards the jukebox section for a moment. It has some of the more iconic songs from their movies. Most of them are really catchy. It's a shame they're not as viral as they should be. Here, listen to this. Apart from that, it's pretty straightforward. You have options in which you can change difficulty, music volume, sound volume, and change the color of their clothing, new game, and continue. A nice feature is that you can replay levels as much as you want when you select continue. You are of course taking on the roles of Bud Spencer and Terence Hill. However, while both characters are quite popular, Bud Spencer has always been the more popular one among them. So naturally, I'd like to pick him. Wait a minute. Hey, yo, I wanna be Bud Spencer.
No, I wanna be Bud Spencer.
No, I wanted to be Bud Spencer first.
Sucks for you then.
Anyway, the game starts with our protagonists having a romantic dinner in the desert. A bunch of crooks arrive to heckle them, but Spencer ain't having any of it and proceeds to smack this poor chap's brain down his asshole.
Huh. I smacked him so hard I made him forget the alphabet.
Sure did. I wanted to play Bud Spencer. Buddy is more powerful and functions as a tank that can take on multiple enemies. He can also pick up enemies and use them to beat up other enemies. You could say he picks up motherfuckers and uses them to beat up some more motherfuckers. In order to solve some puzzles, Buddy uses his strength to push objects around. Terence is the more athletic character among the two, which comes into play when he has to climb on stuff. He has power shots that do massive damage on his enemies, but also fast slabs with which he can hold multiple enemies in check before knocking them out. Both characters are built differently, which is why team play is more important than ever. Stop it! Stop it! During the first two stages you have these shootouts in which your crosshair goes apeshit and moves all over the screen. You have to trigger the gun at the precise moment the crosshair hits its target, which is easier said than done. Here, we're at the end of stage 1. We have a shootout with these thugs and are constantly losing to them because each player needs to hit them with 4 out of his 5 shots. You mess up, you lose a chunk of your health. Now you're probably thinking that you still have enough health to get back at them, but you don't. And we died. The cool thing, however, is that in-game you have lots and lots of checkpoints, so you don't have to start from the beginning of the stage. So we beat up these few thugs ahead of us and we're stuck. What the fuck? Look at this, we cannot progress from here! Wow, just wow. A bug like that in the final version of a video game. I mean, they could at least release a patch or something.
This is not fair. The gun duel is really hard and I was not ready for this. What the fuck?
Well, maybe if you stopped eating you would be able to shoot a little bit better.
Nah, I think your aiming sucks.
Well, he's not completely wrong, you know. I mean, being confronted with a minigame like that a couple of minutes into the game came as a shock because everything up to that point was rather easy. Let me show you another bug that really annoyed us. A second bug that we found by accident that really annoyed the heck out of us. In the second playthrough we turned off the music and we noticed that we are constantly hearing footsteps in the laboratory stage, no matter what we did.
I think I will hear those in my nightmares.
I see you in my nightmares. Anyway, back to the plot. As you move on, you discover that you are basically playing as the actors Bart Spencer and Terence Hill, who are currently shooting a spaghetti western movie. They learn that their entire crew production is made of corrupt thugs who kidnap Terence's love interest, Sophia, and escape. Determined to save Sophia and their paycheck, they chase after them. Along the way, you participate in a number of minigames. See, in the movies, Bud Spencer and Terence Hill are often strangers who are brought together by fate. They usually have a common goal but can't help constantly trying to grieve each other, which means that they often compete with each other in various mental and physical challenges. In-game, you and your partner progress together by beating the ever-loving crap out of everyone and everything that you encounter. While doing so, you often compete with each other in various minigames to see who the more slick gamer is. Therefore, the game is basically a beat-em-up in which both players also compete with each other. You know, feeding you is some serious business.
What do you mean?
I mean, every time you come here, I lose some serious money. You eat like an elephant.
You should get yourself a second job.
What does that have to do with anything? Just shut up and eat. The boss fights in these games are quite creative and are more similar to a minigame than they are to a beat-em-up style boss fight. I will not spoiler too much about the boss fights in this game, but let me show you my favorite one. So you have been chasing down this mini-boss Tango and you cornered him in the storage room of a local supermarket. He lets his goons loose on you. You cannot approach him because he has 2 muscular goons blocking your path. When you beat his men up, he throws some money on them and they rise right back up like zombies. And he has a lot of money. He has $100 million to be exact. Heck, if it was me, I would ignore the pain of a few shattered bones in order to get some large piles of cash.
You should get yourself a second job. You need more money.
The plot of the game seems to be loosely based on the entire movie library of both men, with a large focus on the Trinity series, Watch Out We're Mad, and Who Finds a Friend Finds a Treasure. The game is filled with movie references to the brim. If you are a fan of their movies, you will be seeing elements and references from the movies all over the place. Here is an older Terence Hill as Don Mateo riding a bike. Here is the ice cream scene from Odds and Evens.
Fix me a cone, will you?
Tutti frutti, caramel toffee, vanilla. Pistachio melted.
Towards the end of the game, you get to see the toilet elevator from Go For It. Here I received an achievement called Banana Joe, which is a character what Spencer played. And right here you are fighting H725, the name of the kid from The Sheriff and the Satellite Kid. The references are of course endless and you will have a field day here. Needless to say, most villains in-game are actually also based on movie characters. This goes for both sub-bosses like the pirate captain over here, as well as for the henchmen you are facing along the way. Anyway, if you're interested to know who your enemy is, the mastermind of the operation is called Mr. K2. He is a beans supplier who is disgruntled about the reputation of his company.
Little taste. Choo 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 choo. Good. Yeah.
Mr. K2 plans to destroy all the world's farm products except for his beans, of course, using a virus that he somehow spreads all over the globe using this big-ass rocket. He kidnapped Sophia in order to convince her father, Elmet Brown over here, to do his bidding. He locked Sophia up inside the rocket, of course, because she refused to marry him. So it is your job to go and stop him. Well, let's come to the verdict. First of all, music. Just epic, beautiful, and so full of nostalgia. The game developers had such a huge library to pick from, of course, so there is no surprise there. If you like the songs in the movies, then you're gonna like them in the game as well. The game does its source material more than justice, and but Spencer and Terence Hill, they're treated very well, they're very well represented here. The dialogue between the characters feels a little bit off, but that might be because I'm reading text and I'm not watching these two legends acting it out. The beat-em-up element felt a little bit lacking, especially at the beginning of the game. I felt like the attacks were not diverse enough, there were no tag team elements, the environment was not involved enough, and there were not enough items for my taste. However, if you make it through the first level, you're gonna barely notice, as the mini-games and the general charm of the game are gonna overwhelm you. A few negative points that I have to mention. First of all, these bugs in the game, they should not be there. It's the final version, there are no patches. Second, the game time is too short, especially for its retail price. I mean, I managed to power through it in less than 3 hours in my second playthrough. The game gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Now, I might be a little bit biased because I was a fan from the get-go. Somebody who's not a fan might rate the game a little bit less than I did. However, if you're a fan, I would suggest you go and buy this game. If you're not a fan and would like to get into the franchise, this is an opportunity for you. Play the game, watch the movies. As for now, I was Dr. Sledgehammer. I'm glad that you tuned in, and I will see you guys on the next Sledgehammer review.
Yo bro, got any more chicken nuggets?
Get the heck out of here.
I just want some chicken nuggets.
I said get the fuck out of here.
Alright, I'm going. Bye.
Hob den Schwanz und flog davon!